Penguin Random House Audio presents I've Got This Round, More Tales of Debauchery. This is the author, Mamrie Hart. Publisher's note, this audiobook includes images, which can be viewed by opening the accompanying PDF file. This book is dedicated to my pussy posse. Introduction. The day after my first book, You Deserve a Drink, came out, I was sitting down for lunch surrounded by my team, comprised of my manager, agents, editor, and PR people, the whole ridiculous shebang. As I sipped my mid-morning martini, I thought to myself, well, look at you, Miss Hart. A few years ago, you were begging people to come to your comedy show in this neighborhood, watching them throw away your flyers in the trash can 2 seconds after you handed it to them, and now you're sitting here all fancy. Enjoy it, girl. You earned it. But before I could break into a choreoed number to I'm Every Woman in my head, I was snapped out of my daydream. I'm Every Woman. Obviously, Whitney Houston's version from the Bodyguard soundtrack. I love that whole album. I used to rock out so hard to Queen of the Night as a 9-year-old, having no idea I was just scream singing about being a prostitute. So what are you thinking for the next book? One of the suits asked me. I froze like I just realized I was sitting at a table of T-Rexes. Next one, I thought. This one's been out for 24 hours. Then another spoke up. Yeah, when can we expect a follow-up? I gulped down that lemon drop with a plastered-on smile, nodding and looking attentive, while internally I was losing it. Those are all my stories, I thought. It took me 31 years to collect them. I don't have anything left to tell. Besides, most of them happened in my early 20s. I'm in my 30s now. I don't have that kind of energy anymore. But when a huge publishing company named after a flightless bird wants another book, you say yes. When I got back to LA, where I'd been living for about a year, I wondered how I was going to pull this off. Well, lots of authors fabricate stories for their books. Maybe I can just make some up. That's not that bad, right? Of course it's bad. There's nothing I hate more than listening to someone tell a story and knowing that they're exaggerating. Back to the drawing board. Maybe I can just leave the business entirely? Retire at the top of my game? I took a shot. I took a deep breath. This wasn't me. This can be as simple as someone saying they're going to belly flop into a pool or make out with someone at a bar, to bigger things like going back to school or finally writing that movie idea they've told me the plot of 800 times. I needed to heed my own advice. I needed to fucking prove it. So I did. For the next year and a half, I actively sought out the weirdest and funniest adventures I could find. Luckily, I can make YouTube videos from the road, and I avoid going on auditions at all costs, so getting out of town was actually feasible. I'd adventure in a new city, and then my sunglasses on, hungover self would write up the tale on the plane home, so as not to forget any details. But this book isn't just stories of random boozy adventures and wacky celeb run-ins. See, while I was off acting like a free spirit, indulging in those overpriced plane spirits, I was also dealing with a major turning point in my life, the end of a decade-long relationship. Initially, I thought I'd keep the breakup out of this book. Hell, what better way to deal with an emotional earthquake than pretending it's not happening and getting the hell out of town, right? It turns out you can't leave those feelings. They are your constant carry-on. As I was writing, I realized I couldn't just tell you about my wild night in Paris and leave out the fact that I was bawling like an idiot, or pretend like my summer of mayhem wasn't in part due to being single and also living alone for the first time in my adult life. I went into the writing process for this book expecting it to be an easy follow-up. Another collection of random debauchery, except this time in my early 30s. But turns out, when I sat at that table sipping that teeny in Rockefeller Center, I wasn't just about to start a new writing project. I was about to start a new chapter in my life, and that's what I've documented here. Between the travel and the life-changing circumstances, this book is my Eat, Pray, Love, except it would be more accurately titled Drank, Drank, Drank. This book is the closest thing I've had to a diary since the Hello Kitty one I kept in 5th grade, which I used to write thorough reviews of Spin the Bottle, and it's by and large the most vulnerable I've ever been in public. Which at first made me hesitant, but it's like they always say, you can't spell vulnerable without all rub even. By they, I mean me looking at an online anagram generator, but weirdly enough, that phrase actually ties the book together nicely. I started off solid like a rock, threw myself into a tumbler of mayhem, and came out feeling polished and smooth, ready to skip along any tough waters that came my way. Wow, did I just invent a beautiful metaphor? Someone call Oprah. I really do hope you enjoy this collection. I hope it makes you laugh on a beach somewhere, or say, oh, Lord of mercy, on a crowded subway train, or allows you to feel a little bit better about your own transitions in life. And if it doesn't, Have no fear. I always have a drinking game incorporated to help give you a nice buzz during the process. So drink every time I mention a canceled TV show, name a snack item you could buy at 7-Eleven, reference a chain restaurant, or use a slang term for a reproductive organ. And also, like the first book, I am instituting a safe word for anyone related to me reading this. Trust me, it's for your own good if you want to be able to look me in the eyes again at a future family function. In the first book, the safe word was rutabaga. So why don't we stick to the root vegetable theme and make this book safe word kohlrabi? Why? Because I have never used that word in conversation, and also because it kind of looks like cool rabbi, like a rabbi that would bust out a rap at a bris. Now you've got the book, you know the drinking game rules, you know the safe word, and I've fully prepped you to get into this thing. So there's only one thing left to do. Fucking prove it! And there is a PDF you can download that goes along with this audiobook where you can see all the pictures. The first one being an obnoxiously large neon sign I got made for my living room that says this very motto. It is very big, it is very pink, and to anyone passing by, my living room looks like a Barbie brothel. The poke, oh noes. A disclaimer. Every good relationship I've had has started with honesty. And usually a long night of drinking and creating memories that could be used as future blackmail. But since they wouldn't let me duct tape a fifth of tequila to every copy of this book, I'll just stick with being truthful instead. So, this chapter out of the entire book is the longest. Most authors wouldn't do this. Most authors would kick off their book with a snack of a story, something to whet the appetite, like an amuse-bouche at a fancy restaurant, or a mini Snickers in your car before Chili's. But that's not my style. I respect you too much to start you off with a quick bang. I wanted our first time to be slow and attentive and leave you satisfied. That said, let's get into some trouble, y'all. Reader, if there's something you need to know about me, it's that I often get obsessed with very dumb things. One of these things being comically large items. Nothing makes me happier than larger-than-life gags. Giant whoopee cushions, water towers painted to look like food items, roadside attractions like the world's largest ball of twine. This love for colossal crap started early, thanks to a creative local business in my hometown. Where I grew up, in Podunk, North Carolina, there were only a few businesses in town. Some gas stations. There's also a VHS rental / tanning bed salon hybrid, and situated right by the town's only intersection, a silk screening shop that took care of all your sports uniforms and fundraiser t-shirt needs. Now, I am no marketing exec. But one would think that the best way to advertise this last business would be to put some jerseys in the window. You know, show the people driving by the best examples of your work. But not this place. Instead, they filled their window with a ginormous pair of bright orange granny panties, at least 4 feet wide, that read, "Home of the Whopper," across the ass. It killed me. It still does. To this day, it's my go-to visual to make me laugh. Like Peter Pan's happy thought to fly. Home of the Whopper. Shaking my damn head. But despite all the oversized goods I've been around in my day, there's always been one giant thing I've yet to find. My comically large holy grail. No, but seriously, it is a grail because I'm talking about a giant champagne glass. Let me take you back. When I was just shoulder high to a titmouse, I saw a commercial for a romantic resort with a couple in a tub shaped like a massive champagne glass. I couldn't believe my freshly diagnosed nearsighted eyes. What a sight to behold. This couple was happier than an 80s Newport cigarette ad, heads cocked back, laughing as bubbles swirled around them. I immediately fell in love with that scene and that tub. And I know what you're thinking. 1, what the fuck does shoulder high to a titmouse mean? Stay tuned for more confusing Southern colloquialisms. And 2, what kind of child fantasizes about going to what is clearly a lover's resort? This one. I was a weird child who wanted to be an adult by about age 8. While other kids were decorating their Barbie dream house or out in the yard playing hide and seek, I had a different routine. I would sit at my dining room table ordering vodka vavooms from an invisible waiter, which was really just cran grape in a martini glass. Then I'd take that teeny to the roof of my dilapidated barn, imagining it was a sexy rooftop bar, drinking and puffing away on a small twig as if it was a Capri cigarette. This was all especially strange because neither of my parents ever drank or smoked while I was growing up. Despite this, I was basically a 4'2" Samantha Jones in the making, and so naturally when I saw that commercial, I felt I had to go. I even asked to visit the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?